There's a sentence that every American over 40 can finish from memory. Attention, Kmart shoppers. When that voice came over the loudspeaker and the blue light started spinning, people would run, actually run, carts rattling, across the store toward a bargain that would be gone in 10 minutes. At its peak, this company ran nearly 2,500 stores. And here is the fact that almost nobody remembers. For nearly 30 years, Kmart was bigger than Walmart. Bigger, older, richer, first to everything. Sam Walton himself admitted he built Walmart by studying Kmart. Today, there are 3 Kmarts left, and not one full-size store on the American mainland. The student didn't just beat the teacher, the student erased him. How do you lose a 30-year head start? The answer starts with a traveling tinware salesman and ends with a satellite. The 1890s. A young Pennsylvania salesman named Sebastian Kresge is traveling the country selling tinware, pots, pans, kitchen goods. And his best customer happens to be a man named Frank Woolworth, who owns all 19 of his revolutionary 5 and dime stores. Kresge watches Woolworth's counters the way a farmer watches the sky. Fixed low prices, high volume, no haggling. He doesn't just want to sell to this man, he wants to become him. So in 1897, Kresge takes his savings, $6,700, every dollar of it, and buys into a 5 and dime in Memphis. Within a few years, he's traded his way to full ownership of a store in downtown Detroit with his name over the door. Sebastian Kresge is, by every account, one of the cheapest men in America, a man who squeezes every nickel. But that's exactly the point. He runs stores for people like himself, and America is full of people counting nickels. The growth is relentless. By 1918, the SS Kresge Company is on the New York Stock Exchange. By 1929, 597 stores. By 1924, Kresge himself is worth around $375 million. And that same year, the nickel squeezer does something surprising. He pours his fortune into a foundation with a mission statement of just 7 words: to promote the well-being of mankind. Keep that in mind for the end of this story. The dime stores carry Kresge through the Depression, through the war, into the 1950s. But by then, the world that built them is disappearing, and one Kresge executive can see it plainly. His name is Harry Cunningham. He'd started as an assistant store manager in 1930. Now, he's about to bet the whole company. Cunningham has been studying a new kind of store, the discounter. Huge floors, thin margins, self-service, prices that make a dime store look expensive. In 1961, he visits an innovative discount pioneer in Rhode Island called Ann and Hope, and he comes away certain this is the future. Worth noting, another retailer toured Ann and Hope around the same time, a fellow from Arkansas. We'll get to him. So Cunningham converts the empire. In January 1962, the first store carrying a strange new name opens its doors: Kmart. Shareholders are furious. Some say openly that Cunningham may be destroying the company. Sebastian Kresge is 94 years old, and he lives to see the gamble pay off before his death at 99. Because it pays off beyond imagination. Kmart doesn't open stores, it detonates them across America. And here's the detail history students love. That same year, 1962, 2 other discount stores opened their first locations. One in Minnesota, called Target. and one in Rogers, Arkansas, called Walmart. 3 racers, same starting line. For the next 3 decades, Kmart leads the race by a mile. If you grew up in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, Kmart wasn't a store. It was a place in your week. And in 1965, it got its heartbeat. Somebody in a Kmart had the idea of mounting a police light on a pole, wheeling it to a table of overstock, and flipping the switch. The Blue Light Special was born. No planning, no schedule, the light just appeared. A voice crackled overhead. "Attention Kmart shoppers," and whatever aisle you were in, you moved. It became one of the most famous phrases in America. Comedians used it, movies quoted it. Think about what that light really was. A little jolt of luck in an ordinary errand. Retail as a game. No company before or since has bottled that feeling quite the same way. You remember the rest of it too. The icy and the popcorn at the front. The layaway counter in October holding Christmas safe behind the desk. The Sunday circular on the kitchen table. For millions of working families, Kmart was where the paycheck stretched furthest. And the numbers matched the memories. Kmart rose to become the second largest retailer in the United States, behind only Sears. And you know from our first story how the giants of that era assumed the ranking was permanent. At the peak, the empire runs close to 2,500 stores worldwide. Sam Walton, by now building his own chain out of Arkansas, never pretended otherwise about where the blueprint came from. He credited Harry Cunningham as the first man to truly design a discount store, and said Cunningham deserved to be remembered as one of the greatest retailers of all time. The highest compliment in business history, from the man sharpening the knife. Because while Kmart was enjoying being big, Walmart was busy becoming something Kmart never understood. And the difference between them wasn't on the sales floor where everyone was looking. It was in the back room where nobody was. In 1987, Walmart finished a project that sounded, to most retailers, like science fiction. A private satellite network, $24 million worth, the largest private satellite system in the world at the time. A discount store in space. Here's what it did. Every cash register in every Walmart now spoke in real time to headquarters in Bentonville. Every sale, every shelf, every truck tracked instantly. When a store sold a case of motor oil, the system already knew, and a replacement was already moving through a distribution center toward that exact store. Now walk into a Kmart in the same era. Empty pegs where the advertised special should be. Stock rooms nobody can map. Managers counting by hand. Kmart had underinvested in logistics for years. Its shelves ran empty while its costs ran high. Same products, same prices, same customers. But one company knew where every item in America was, and the other was guessing. And what was Kmart's leadership focused on while Walmart wired itself into a machine? Shopping, of a different kind. Through the late 80s and 90s, headquarters poured its attention into a collection of acquired specialty chains. A sporting goods empire here, a home improvement chain there, a bookstore group. The core stores, the blue light stores your family actually walked, aged, dimmed, and dulled. In November 1990, the line crossed. Walmart passed Kmart. Quietly, the way Walmart passed Sears the year before. And the following year, 1991, in a move that says everything, Kmart retired the Blue Light Special. Too old-fashioned, the thinking went. Too discount. They turned off the one light every customer in America could see, while the real failure stayed invisible in the warehouses. Through the 90s, Kmart chased fixes. A new logo, Super Kmart Groceries, celebrity lines, Jacqueline Smith, Kathy Ireland, and a genuinely brilliant partnership with Martha Stewart that had Middle America buying her towels by the cartload. Good ideas, some of them, but a store that can't keep the advertised towel on the shelf loses the customer anyway. The plumbing was the problem. Nobody wanted to fix plumbing. Then, in the year 2000, the board hired a fixer, a rising star from the drugstore world named Charles Conaway. He arrived with a $5 million loan from the company and a plan to save Kmart. What happened next put Kmart in the history books, in the worst possible way. In the summer of 2001, Conaway's team launched the plan, Blue Light Always. The name promised a return to glory. The substance was a declaration of war. Kmart would go head-to-head with Walmart on price. Stop and consider what that means. Price is not a number on a tag. Price is the output of a supply chain. Walmart could sell cheaper because its satellite-fed logistics machine made every item cost less to move. Challenging Walmart on price with Kmart's warehouses was like challenging a fighter jet to a race in a pickup truck on the theory that both have wheels. The execution turned a mistake into a catastrophe. To stock the war, Kmart bought roughly $850 million of extra merchandise, by later accounts, without proper analysis or approvals. And to pay for the lower prices, it slashed the weekly advertising circulars. The circulars, the Sunday paper flyers that were, for 50 years, the reason Kmart families walked in the door. Walmart, of course, simply matched or beat every price, instantly, effortlessly, the machine doing what the machine was built to do. Kmart's regulars, no longer seeing the circular, just stopped coming. Sales fell all autumn. Then came the holidays, the season that decides retail, and the registers stayed quiet. On January 22, 2002, 6 months after Blue Light Always launched, Kmart filed for Chapter 11. At the time, it was the largest retail bankruptcy in the history of the United States. $16 billion in assets, $10 billion in debt, a century of nickels and dimes upside down. That same day, at a conference for employees, Conaway stood up and accepted, his words, full blame. He was soon forced out, accused along with his president of misleading shareholders while the money ran short, and asked to repay his loans. We'll say it plainly and fairly. The record shows the final captains spent big, disclosed little, and steered at full speed into the iceberg everyone could see. The cost, as always, landed lower down. In the restructuring, Kmart closed more than 300 stores and laid off around 34,000 workers. A year later, 326 more stores went. Then a hedge fund manager named Eddie Lampert bought up Kmart's cheap debt, took control of the wreck, and in 2005 used it to buy Sears. You know that story. The two great names of American retail, chained together, went down together. 2018, bankruptcy. And by 2024, the last full-size Kmart on the American mainland turned off its lights. So, how do you lose a 30-year head start? Not on price, not on advertising, not even really on stores. Kmart lost because it treated retail as a selling business, when its rival had realized retail is a shipping business, a war of warehouses, trucks, and data, where the sales floor is just the last 10 feet. Kmart fought the visible war. Walmart fought the invisible one. By the time Kmart understood which war was real, it had 6 months left. Today, the Kmart empire consists of exactly 3 stores. One in the U.S. Virgin Islands, one on the island of Guam, one small shop in Florida. 2,500 stores to 3. None of them a real Kmart as you'd remember it, none on the mainland. The most complete disappearance of any giant we'll ever cover. And yet, 2 pieces of Kmart are still very much alive. And they're the 2 oldest pieces. Remember Sebastian Kresge's 7 words, to promote the well-being of mankind. The foundation he seeded with his dime store fortune in 1924 gave away more than $60 million in his lifetime. And today, its endowment stands at over $4 billion, still making grants a century on. The stores are gone. The nickels the old man refused to waste are still working. And the other survivor is an idea. Harry Cunningham's 1962 blueprint, the giant one-stop discount store, didn't die with Kmart. It is Walmart. It is Target. Every supercenter you've ever pushed a cart through is a descendant of the bet the shareholders said would destroy the company. Sam Walton said Cunningham should be remembered as one of the greatest retailers of all time. He was right. It's just that the memory lives in his competitors' buildings. One last detail for those keeping track of dates in this series. The first Kmart opened on January 25, 1962. Sears announced the death of its great catalog on January 25, 1993. 31 years apart to the day. 2 empires, 1 calendar square, and in the end, 1 shared grave. Next time, we leave the stores behind and get on the road. Before the interstates, America's Main Street was a single highway, Route 66, and it carried so much life that 200 towns bloomed along its shoulders. Then America built a better road, and the mother road's towns were left to the desert. Gas stations frozen in 1959, motels with the keys still on the hooks. The highway that built 200 towns and then killed them. That's next time on Boomtown, America.